Looking back at the last episode of Monster Hunter Clones, we took a look at God Eater. It was a fun game with its own identity in the hunting genre. Well, the same folks that made God Eater helped to make this game right here. This is Freedom Wars, and I have to tell you, Freedom Wars is outright amazing. Nearly everything about its core mechanics is fun, engaging, and I'd be willing to go as far as to say it's one of the best new IPs of the last decade. To explain this properly, I'm going to need to dive into the story just a little bit. So the world is in turmoil, and basically all the nations are fighting over resources. Each nation, known as a panopticon, basically operates as an Orwellian dystopian society that's constantly watching over its citizens. So basically, it's just like today. And that's essentially where you come in. You end up with a hard case of amnesia, and you're ultimately punished for it with nearly
1 million.
1 million years. So now that you're basically locked in a cell for the rest of your life, you can work towards decreasing your sentence by going out and going on missions and rescuing civilians and destroying giant mechanized robots or abductors from other panopticons. And your robot friend also makes sure you don't break any of the rules or any laws that you have because you are a prisoner in what is essentially a prison. I had a lot of fun customizing my robot. Her voice totally does not match her looks, but then again, she's a robot, so I don't really care. You get to pick between a bunch of NPCs to go out on missions with, and some of them get pretty detailed arcs, but then some of them just have really strange dialects, but at least they're memorable. Like this guy, I never knew Shaz was a word, but I swear to God he must say it like 15 times every time he's on screen. Eventually, all kinds of hell breaks loose between the panopticons and a place known as On High, or people that live in the sky. Of course, there's more to it than that, but I'd rather not spoil anything because I genuinely enjoy the story and I love the atmosphere in this game. It's all in the details, from you having to be able to purchase things, like being able to sleep laying down, or being able to run, or my personal favorite, being able to talk to the opposite gender. Now, keep in mind, if you do get caught doing any of these things, you will get docked and punished with extra years to your sentence. Now, 1 million is already a big number, but you sure as hell don't want to do anything to extend your sentence. Actual gameplay is similar enough to the hunting genre, but it's no longer stuck in that prehistory fantasy setting. This is set in a dystopian future that I mentioned before. With the explicit permission from the higher-ups, you'll be allowed to leave your cell, actually, and you'll partake in missions where you can either destroy giant robots and rescue citizens, or destroy people from other panopticons. There's a whole lot of destroying going on here. How you do that destroying is largely up to you. You can get a variety of weapons ranging from different sized swords to polearms to rocket launchers and sniper rifles. Now, all these customize your moveset in different ways, and they serve a different purpose. For example, the rocket launchers are extremely effective at blowing stuff up, but you can only carry limited ammo with them. Assault rifles are effective against those fleshy sock puppets from other panopticons, but they don't exactly do very much against the abductors. To help bring those abductors down, everyone is equipped with a thorn, essentially the hookshot from Legend of Zelda. This is a really awesome tool because you can use it to target weak spots on an abductor and drag it down. The more players that do this at the same time, the quicker you'll bring an abductor to its knees. However, it leaves you wide open to attack, especially if there's more than one abductor in the area. You can use it to traverse around the environment, mount abductors, shield yourself, and even heal your teammates. It's really an interesting piece of equipment in the game, and it only adds to the value that the core gameplay and mechanics bring to the table. I will say, though, that there are some very strange choices with some of the missions that are just really out of place. Throughout the story, there'll be these random stealth missions, which are just strange and unpolished. They're not hard, they're pathetically easy, actually, but it's just really annoying, and honestly, it's a waste of time to play this very unpolished sneaking mini-game, essentially, when you're supposed to be hunting badass robots and junk. To go along with that, the tutorial felt like absolutely forever. There are so many fetch quests that just have you walking around your panopticon just to initiate a cutscene followed by another fetch quest to get you back to your cell, especially when you don't have the run permit, so you have to walk everywhere. It's just really annoying. It's actually one of my major gripes with the game, and that's just how long it takes to actually get rolling, how long it takes to actually get equipped and get familiar with the gameplay and start hunting all these monsters and just be introduced to the general gameplay, but instead you're stuck for the first several hours just wandering around your panopticon. As with God Eater, there's not any armor per se. There's clothing that you can equip and various skills that you can jam into yourself through your weapons and whatnot, but there's not really any physical armor or anything to deflect damage. That's not necessarily a bad thing, though. However, the crafting in this game is just a total pain in the ass. Now, let me explain. What you have to do is you have to create these buildings that can craft certain types of items, which is fine. I don't really mind that. It's kind of neat. But what I do mind is that as you level up and progress, you have to wait in real time for your weapons to be finished. Not only that, but you can only pick up to 50% or half of the attributes that will be on your new gear, which means there's a hefty bit of RNG. Now, I don't personally mind this as much as other people, seeing as charms and amulets in Monster Hunter are effectively randomized to a degree. But some people might find this very frustrating because it's like half of your equipment was created by RNGesus, and it's not exactly fair to some people. Now, I don't own a Vita, so I bought this for the PlayStation TV. It lets me play without a hitch, honestly, and it works pretty much flawlessly, I think. There is something about the controls though that feels stiff. I'm not sure if it's a side effect of playing the Vita game with a controller, because I'm playing with my PS4 controller, or if it just feels like that when it's played on the Vita normally. It's just something about there's not enough fluidity with the aiming reticule and the camera movement. It just feels off. I don't really know how to explain it. It's almost like there's too much dead zone on the controller or something. I haven't quite put my finger on it yet, but I'm not sure. It's just something to keep in mind. You also can't turn your camera while your character is sprinting, which frankly just feels wrong, man. But the online mode though, Freedom Wars was the only game in this video series so far where I consistently found people to play with. Sometimes they would kick me for no discernible reason, but there would still be games to join, which was nice because this game is a few years old, and it's just nice to see people still playing it. Of course, everyone I played with was extremely overpowered compared to myself, but I was enjoying taking down some of these large abductors with other people. The one thing I rather like is that if you finish a quest online, it's done and completed in the single player mode as well. In terms of games in the hunting genre, Freedom Wars definitely comes up near the top, despite some of the legit grievances and flaws that I just quite don't understand. It's like some of these weird stealth missions and whatnot. It's still a lot of fun, and I definitely recommend it to fans of the genre. If you don't have a Vita, feel free to get it on PlayStation TV because those things are mega cheap. I got mine for $30, and the game cartridge only runs about $10, so that's $40 for a pretty good game. There are some really good clones on the Vita as well, so you can play those on the PlayStation TV, and it's a really good investment, honestly. Anyway, Freedom Wars is awesome. If you haven't played it before, highly recommend it. Thank you for watching this latest episode of Monster Hunter Clones. If you enjoyed this, please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe for more content like this, and also the upcoming Monster Hunter Generations videos. It releases this Friday, the July 15th, and I'll be doing a 24-hour stream during its release. I encourage all of you to tune in over at twitch.tv/GameTacoFTW. I'll be starting around 11 a.m. on July 15th. That's Pacific time. But other than that, please feel free to stay tuned for more Monster Hunter content. Next episode of Monster Hunter Clones will likely be a couple months because I'm going to be diving into Generations and everything, but odds are it's going to be on Soul Sacrifice. Anyway, my name is Game Taco, and I will catch you all later. Peace.